Hey everyone, my name's Andrew Hess. Last week we created this template with Power Automate. And today, based on one of your questions, I want to take that to the next level. Let's do the template and let's add our own personal branding. Colors, images, table inside table. Let's get into it. Last week, we were taking two of our lists. We have customers and then we have orders. We were combining them and creating a beautiful document of our customer with their order. This is what the document looked like last week. And today's video is based off a question from one of you. And it's from Emperor here. I would love to see some CSS usage on the above. A request I get a lot is to do a one-on-one, create a PDF from some ancient Word or Excel file. They want the visuals to be the same. Don't get me started. I totally understand. People want things to look good. They want things to look professional and not just out of the box. So let's get into it and let's design this template and put some awesome look and feel on this document. What I want to do is I want to look at this compose statement that we added here. And this compose statement basically just shows the HTML that we have to create our document. I'm going to take this HTML right here. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to go to an HTML viewer. Now, I'm not recommending anything. I'm not saying this is the best. This is just what came up for me when I did a quick search. I wanted to view my HTML. So I'm going to take that HTML and I'm going to paste it in here. And you can see, okay, that's what it looks like when it prints to PDF. So I have a very, very simple CSS. And let me just paste it in here. So I'm going to paste it in here. Very simple HTML, CSS, document type, HTML, header style, the body, the font type, the margin. You can change the margin if you want. Maybe the margin should be a little bit smaller. That's the outer edge here. Maybe the margin is a little bit smaller. Give you some more space. H2, this is our header, or it will be our header. So the H2, the color, we can change the color of that. Table, so this is our table here. And right now it's both tables, so both of our tables. And then we have our TH and TD, so our table header and our table data have this type of padding. So now I'm going to scroll down to my HTML. So when I'm looking at my HTML, I have some extra things in here. I have an extra TD, I have an extra table. There we go. And this table, there we go. So now it's really important to start off with an HTML viewer and kind of design from there. And then we're going to fix Power Automate. Now the first thing is my outer table and my inner table both have the same CSS right now. And for me, I actually don't want that. I actually want the look of my outer table to look different than my inner table. So to do that, instead of just table here, I'm going to say dot main table. And then below that, I'm going to say, we'll call this, inner table? Inner table. So now we have two different ones. For here, I'm going to say dot main table, th, td, and then we'll copy this here also. And we're going to say this is the inner table, thtd. Now down in my HTML, lower, for the first table, instead of this padding and everything, we're going to say class equals main table. Okay. Inner table, we're going to say class equals inner table. Okay, so now let's start adding some things in here. In our main table, let's put a border of 1px and make it solid. All right, so you can see the border that came in here for our THTD. We also want a border of 1px solid. Okay, we got our borders back in. It's already looking a little bit better. Let's add some color in the TH. Let's give it a background color. So I'm just gonna throw in a color in here. Okay, so now both of the main table and the inner table have that color. Let's make sure inner color is working right. So right now, let's just kind of make sure that the inner table, Let's see, for background color, let's kind of change it a little. Let's see, F, you can see it changing over here. I don't know what a good color is. You could probably look one up if you want to. What I'm gonna do is on the TD of the inner, it looks like I have in TH in here twice. So actually this font weight can go up here. Maybe we'll leave it, we'll let it inherit from the outer table, but the TD, and for the nth, which is the number, so think of nth, NTH, child, and the third, or maybe it's in the third row, and let me make sure I'm doing this right. For the third row, what I want to do is say padding is 0px. Let's see. Let's try changing this to 2. Okay, that's here. But what I really want is not the inner table. I want the main table. There we go. So let me pull this up. In the main table, I want to remove the padding. It's a little bold. And you see, maybe it's a little dark here. So on the inner table, on the table data, maybe it's the TH. Maybe I can say border none. Let's try on the TD. So we'll take out the background color. Border none. There we go. Oh, that looks okay. That looks okay. It's not bad. Do we need a border inside there? No, we don't need a border. Maybe we want to center it. Let's center it. So down here, let's see. Text align center. Let's make sure the TH also has a text align center. Now, I guarantee you a lot of you are better than me at CSS. I have some skills at it. I am not the best at making things pretty, but in the inner table, in the TR, in the table row, and which table row? We want the nth child, every even number. So every 2, 4, every even number. And there are better skills that you guys can do. I have to spell inner right. In the inner table, let's make the background color. Oh, so, but not the first. So even, let's say, not the first child. Even number, why is it doing that? Let's do odd. There we go. Every odd number. The first child is going to be like a gray. So let's see. A gray is... I just went to Google to make it easy for myself and said number color picker so I can kind of find a gray that I like. Maybe not in the red, but maybe like a blue. There we go. So now every other row is a gray, and you could do that same thing on the main table. These decisions are up to you. I can't create all of your scenarios, but what I can do is show you how to do this and how to build this. Now that we have a beautiful CSS, let's take this CSS. We love it. We like it. Let's take it. Let's go to Power Automate. In Power Automate, now we're going to initialize another variable. There's different ways we could do this, right? We could not initialize another variable and just throw it right up here at the top. Right? We could throw it right up here at the top if we wanted to, and we could say this table is class equals main, what was it, main dash table, and then our inner table, which is right here, a different variable, it is now class equals inner table, okay? And let's just give it a test. There might be some things that are messed up because my CSS, my HTML was not perfect, my CSS, but let's give it a test. Let's do a manual test. And we'll do it on row 1. Run the flow. Let's go to SharePoint where the document will be created. So there's our old one. Let's give it a refresh. a few seconds ago. So you can see, looks like our order is now messed up, like it didn't pull in our orders correctly. Let's kind of double check and see what happened there. So we can go to our compose statement here. We can kind of take this out, right? Just copy it and look at it in the HTML viewer if you want. So it is messing up. It looks like because of a TR or a TD right here is messed up. So we have table class. Oh, I forgot a double quote. So there you go. There's me messing up. I'm just showing you how to troubleshoot these things. I forgot a double quote. I'm not going to remove that from the video. I do make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Let's just kind of go back in here, and you see right here, I didn't initialize my double quote. And the other thing was it didn't, you can see that there is some padding in there. Why is there padding? Is it this extra TD? That's it. There's an extra TD right in there. And then there's a couple extra TDs in there. There's an extra table. Okay, I believe I got it working right. Let's take a look. Now, there's no reason to follow my exact logic because for yours it's going to be a little bit different, but let's give it a try. Let's add one more row to our orders here. So add a new item, and this is going to be barbecue ribs. Customer ID is two barbecue ribs. We'll say the customer wanted 2. Let's give it a, right here, it's barbecue ribs. We can see it in there. Let's give our flow one more run. Let's give it a manual test and pass in our customer ID of 1. Let it run and build this PDF for us. And let's go back to our library where we are printing this out. And so we want to make sure a few seconds ago, this one right here, it ran, and we can see that now we have this nice, beautiful table. It has our customer name, customer email, and look, I can even click on it from the browser. We have a nice table fitting in there in our order, but we can see that the table is starting to look beautiful. It's starting to look like Excel. Let's try adding an image. So let's just add an image, and this is how you would do it if you wanted your logo or your branding in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my site assets. I'm going to go site content. This is where maybe you should store it. It depends. This is where I'm going to store it now. I'm going to go to site assets. I'm going to create a new folder, image. This is up to you, but one idea is to store it in site assets. So I have my image here. So above my table, after the CSS, I'm going to do an image. I'm going to say the source. So let's see, where was it? Image source src equals. Okay, so now with all thing Power Automate, then we need to make sure that it's a base 64 format. Now I had lots of videos on this recently, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to say get file. I'm going to say get file using path. I'm going to get the exact file path, which is our test homepage. The file path is site assets, and then it's images, and then I want my exact image. I'm grabbing my image from my site assets. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say in our table, in the image source is equal to data image. It's a PNG. Not hard coding this in right now, of type base 64. I've made a lot of videos on base 64 recently. Say comma. I'm going to say expression. I'm going to grab the outputs of get file using, let me move me, I'm in the way. Get file using path of the body, and then I want to grab the content. Okay, let's make sure. I think that's right. We maybe need a question mark here. We probably don't need it. It'll be okay if we do or don't. Let's take a look in there. We have our outputs. Let's give it another try. Get file using path. Get file content using path. So I spelled it wrong. Get file content using path. Update. Save. Give it another try. You got to make sure that matches, right? So get file content using path. I'm not going to remove my errors. I feel like they're beneficial. These are things that you guys are going to run into. Let's give it another try. Run. All right, let's give it a refresh. A few seconds ago. And once again, I have it wrong. So let's take a look. If you go to the show raw outputs of your get file using path, and you look in here and you scroll down, like I've been doing this, right down here at the bottom, it's actually $ content. That's what I want to grab. So let's go back to it again one more time. Edit. Down here, it's actually outputs of body $ content. $ content, give it a save. A refresh, automatic, run it one more time. This time we've got it. This time we have an image in our PDF. It's running the for each through each row. Let's give it a refresh. One more refresh. There it is a few seconds ago. Boom. We now have an image in our PDF. Now maybe it's a little big. There's things we can do to make it smaller, right? So we can come in here and we can say, okay, so actually for the image source, let's do the width equals 40px, and the height equals 40px. Give it one more try. It was a little big last time. And then when we refresh and we look at it again, we now have a little tiny icon. Much better, right? We could even put that into the order summary right here. There's all kinds of ideas. This is what I think everyone is looking for. We have images. We have a table within a table. We have a signature. We have a date. It is now dynamic. You can take this. You can add your signature. You can add anything that you'd like to it to create your documentation. So let's just walk through the Power Automate again. And let's make some changes. And this time I want to provide some more governance, some more ideas in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, we have 3 get items. Let's turn this into a scope. Let's add some organization to our Power Automate. Let's take get items, pull it up in there. Get item, get items. Let's get file content. Let's put this all in a scope. Let's rename it. Let's say get more data. Getting our data. Oh, not date, getting our data. So we have the scope of getting our data. We initialize our variables. We could turn some of this into the scope. Let's see. We can't throw initialized variables in a scope, but here, scope. Oh, not that one. Scope. And this is going to be Power Automate, create table body. So we're going to throw our for each in here, the appends, all the appends. We'll leave the compose on the outside. Okay. So it's already looking smaller. Now this right here is the next scope is going to be creating the file. Create the file. And this is going to have create file in here, convert, create file, add it to SharePoint. Let's say create file and save in SharePoint. So now we've added some documentation to this flow. We made it look a lot better, right? So we manually trigger the flow. We have a scope here. We initialize variables. We have a scope to create the table body. The compose, this compose is for debugging. This scope is for creating our file. So let's walk through everything now. So let's walk through. First, our scope, we're going to get the item. So we're grabbing the item from customer. We're grabbing one customer. Then we're getting items. We're grabbing all the orders for that customer. So for customer ID of 1, we're grabbing all of Homer Simpson's. Then we're grabbing our file, our image. This is grabbing our image. Okay, so that's getting our data. Next, we're initializing our CSS. And we could probably even pull this out. But I think it's okay. We'll just leave it in there. We'll just say, okay, this is initializing our full HTML variable. And it has our CSS in here. We could probably split this up. If you want to split it up, you can. And then we're adding our image in here, and then we start our table. Then we're doing our inner table. So this is initializing our inner table. We label the CSS class, and we have 2 table headers. Next, we're going to create the table body. So this is our inner table, and where we loop through each of the rows of our inner body. So the title and amount, which is actually our title here, our title and amount. So we're just grabbing title and amount, and we're looping through when customer ID is equal to the one that's selected. So when customer ID is equal to this value here that's selected, it loops through and grabs our inner table. And then we end our inner table. Then we add our table data here. So this is where we did our for each. We created that loop. Now we're adding in the data for our inner loop. Finally, we're adding in our signature. We probably want to rename this ping string add signature. So this is where we add the signature. And then this compose is just for debugging. This is when I'm running so I can look at that HTML and CSS so I can take it out easily. Then finally, our last scope here is where we create the file in OneDrive. And we're doing this to stay in the free license model. And then we're going to create the file using, or convert the file from HTML, right? So it's creating the file in HTML. You see that right here? We're creating the file in HTML. Then we're converting that file to a PDF. And then once we have that PDF, we then take it and move it to SharePoint. And one last thing you may want to do is delete it from OneDrive for Business. So after all of that is successful, the final thing that you want to do is go to your OneDrive for Business, and you want to delete the file that you created with. And so that is all the way here, not convert file. When we created the file, just pass it the unique ID. So now it's only in your OneDrive for Business temporary. That's our full flow. We now have an amazing template. And let's do a manual to add images, to have a table in a table. There's all kinds of things that you guys can do. The only key and the biggest advice that I have for you is take this compose statement for debugging. Take this final compose statement here. You can copy it all, take it all, go to an HTML viewer, paste it in there, and see how it looks. And look at that, even the picture came through. Even the base 64 picture came through. We have a nice image. We can see it was Bart Simpson. This is how it looks in the HTML viewer. So now when we go to SharePoint and we go to our document and we refresh and we look at the one that was added, I guess it's this one right here about a minute ago, we can see that we have this image now matches our image on the online viewer. All right, and so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this image to the right over in this corner. And just to do that and make it simple for me, I'm going to say, I'm going to say the style for the image is to float to the right. Just kind of throw it over on the right, let it mix in there with the HTML. Let's give it a save. give it another test. Let it run through. We have all of our beautiful scope in there now. Everything looks good. Let's give it a refresh. Look for the one a few seconds ago. There it is. Now we have our logo right here on the right. Wow. Does that not look beautiful? Like, that's professional, right? That's professional. I just want to do it one more time. Now it's up to you to do this for your scenario with your requirements. Take your requirements and look for the one about that's updated just a few seconds ago. Open it up. There we go. We have it for Homer Simpson 2. And it has 4 rows instead of 2 with the product amount, our logo. Perfect, professional, just how we want it. Thank you for watching. My name is Andrew Hess, and I'll see you next week.